I'm about to embark on telling you a tale, maybe the greatest tale the world has ever heard. It's about the day that I met Miko. We were out at Shenanigans, me and a few of the guys, and it got to be, I don't know, midnight or something like that, and I decided I needed to go home. This little lady here jumps directly in front of me off the steps in Shenanigans as I'm walking out the side door, and she says, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going home."
Actually, Chad didn't know, but I have been checking him out weeks before we met at Shenanigans. So then that night at Shenanigans, I'm like, oh, there's that guy again. So this was my plan that Chad didn't know of. I was like, oh, hey there, where are you going? It's like, oh, well, I'm going home. So in my mind before, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go talk to him. My plan was, and start a conversation, and every other time this game kind of works for me, and he'll buy me a drink, and we'll get to know each other, then off, So when he said he's going home, I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, you can't go home.
Tried to make my way out the door. She says, "What's your name?" I says, "I'm Chad." I said, "What's your name?" And she said, "Miko." Only I didn't hear her say Miko. I didn't know what she said. So I asked her again and again and again. And finally, as she's becoming a noise, I said, "Spell it."
Yeah, rude.
So she said, "M-I-K-O." "Oh, Miko. Okay, yep, I got it now." She says, "Well, if you go home, you're in trouble." I says, "What's going to happen?" She says, "I'll punch you."
Yeah.
I says, "Okay, whatever." About 6 days go by, and our typical meeting is at Bracco. And I was standing around, and all of a sudden I see her coming walking right in from the patio.
I was really mad because, nobody has done that. I just smacked him right in the guts.
She's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
And she likes to be in control, and I just love to push her buttons.
And I hate it.
And it drove her crazy. It probably wasn't for a month or two later where I finally decided to ask her out on a date.
Took you forever.
I'll give you 4 choices on where to go. I can't remember what all the other choices were, but one of the choices, the one that she actually picked, was Spazia's. Turns out she hated Spazia's. Couldn't stand it. Well, if I'm going to go to a restaurant that I don't like and it still works out, then it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, so after that first date, I think it was probably the end of that summer.
Yeah.
Is when we actually really knew that there was something there. And so we decided to drive out here to the Palisades.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we're out here right now.
I don't know, there was just something that day, and to this day actually still gives me that kind of feeling.
Chills.
Yeah. I feel like it was that day I felt like, like I love him and I wanted to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Obviously, Miko and I were together for quite a while before we decided
long time.
Before we got engaged. And that was a mutual agreement.
Yes.
She actually said she wanted to be 30 years old.
I don't know why I said that.
And so it was starting to become time. Obviously, we were both done with school. She was approaching 30. Obviously, it was time to make a move. But I knew one thing that was very important to Miko was to meet her family in the Philippines before we got engaged. The plan was that we were going to get married, or we were going to get engaged over there, and then we were going to get married over there as well. I had tried and tried and tried, and every single thing that could go wrong.
Tell them what you try.
Went wrong. The day before, we went down, and the plan was we were going to rent some jet skis from a resort, and we were going to just go basically island hopping around the bay, and we were going to find a spot by ourselves, and we were going to get engaged. We went to the resort. Because of Hurricane Yolanda, everything was destroyed in the storm, so they didn't have jet skis anymore. That whole thing was spoiled. Yeah. So there's a mountain on her grandpa's, in her grandpa's farm, and I bet you that the sunrise is just beautiful up on this mountain. So the plan was we were going to get up at sunrise and we're going to walk up that hill, up that mountain, and we're going to sit up there and it's going to be a good morning. And Miko's mom, she's like, "Oh, you guys are going for that walk? Can I come?" "Sure, Stella. Absolutely you can come."
I'm like, oh my God, he's going to propose at this mountain. So I kind of knew.
Well, as we're going up there, It's starting to get hot. The bugs are bad. Those two are complaining how dirty they're getting.
Yeah.
And we get up to the top. It's not appropriate to ask her to marry me at that time. I just was praying, like, okay, God, give me a sign, help me out, throw me a bone here. I don't know what I'm doing.
I just had like this feeling. I was like, poor Chad. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
wah, wah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy. I just knew he was struggling with something. I knew he was trying to propose to me, but he just
did.
couldn't find. Yes, I did.
So anyways, I'm just sitting there having a moment, and she comes up and she knows something's wrong, so she talks to me and she says, well, let's go for a walk. And we ended up getting into this clearing. I mean, it was just like the coolest clearing in the jungle. I mean, there was like just this big open space. I said, well, what do you want to do today? And I think she literally said, gosh, we should just get married. So I stood her up. You know, I got down on my one knee and I pulled the ring out of my pocket, and I had presented her. I had actually two of them. I had one for her right hand, one for her left hand,
Yes.
because in the Philippines, when you're married, you wear your ring on your right finger.
Yes.
So I honored her culture, and I did that, and I got her actually one for each finger. But she was ecstatic.
I was
you were
just
so
like
excited.
so excited.
Oh, you were jumping
Just
around.
so excited, running around. Who cares? I didn't care. My biggest thing was for him to meet my family, of course,
In the Philippines.
in the Philippines.
Yeah. When I asked Grandpa's permission, to marry her, it was so unexpected for him.
My grandpa said, oh, well, normally a guy comes and brings us a big feast. And Chad was like, what could be a bigger feast? I made it all the way here. I just want to say that I am very thankful that God has brought us two together. I needed someone to guide me at that point in my life, and you were there. No one has ever taken the time for me to really get to know me, where I come from. Even though you are a pain in the butt, because you do take forever and I hate waiting for you. That's just a little thing, and I can deal with it, even though I hate to say that. In the big picture of things, you are everything to me, and I love you.
Well, Miko, when I think of you, I just puts a smile on my face. I'm just so thankful that you're in my life. You're truly a gift from God. Meeting you has totally changed me for the better, and I'm so thankful for that. I love how much you love life. I love how you get so excited, for everything that it's almost like a kid seeing stuff or learning something for the first time. And it just brings such joy to my heart knowing that how happy you are and how happy you make me.